Welcome to the Future Fiction Academy's 2K per day challenge, where every day a member of the FFA is going to jump on and show you how they use AI to get their 2,000 words per day. My name is Stacey Anderson. I'm one of the instructors here at the FFA, and I am hopefully finishing up one of the first short stories in a short story anthology I'm working on. So if you watch the first two videos, I have gotten my first 3 chapters or scenes for the first short story in this anthology, Dr. Sarah Evans' story. I do have all 3 of them here. I have summaries, and I do have a note to myself. I've validated all of the words so far, and all that means is I like the plot events. I like the writing style. I've cleaned up any inaccuracies and anything or that I wouldn't want carried forward in the story. But I haven't made it perfect yet. For example, there were several references to weaponized pigeons in this story so far, and they are different events. So it keeps saying, like, last month there were weaponized pigeons, and then last week the mayor was attacked by these pigeons. I'm not sure I want that many pigeon attacks. So I'm not in the mood to go back and forth quite yet. And because I'm a plantser, I don't know, something may happen by the end of the story that I want to go back and seed anyway, so I just made a note to myself to change that, and I'm not going to make it perfect right yet, but it is very good and very close at this point. One other change I might get, you might notice I have a word count of 1,800, 1,700, and then almost 3,000 words. Reading chapter 3, there is a good breaking point in there where I might break that into chapter 3 and chapter 4. So they're closer to 1,600 words each instead of one longer chapter. Again, it's not necessary to do that at this point. I can do that in my final developmental pass that I do at the end. The only other thing I have to do at this point is take this validated chapter from this spot in Notion, which is where I keep all of my edited versions, and basically just move it into my prompt, which is here in my Notion page. Rexy can pull the information out of the Notion page. I have it written in as a variable in my prompt, or basically I tell Rexy to use this. So I don't have to go inside of Rexy and change everything. I can just change it here. Here's my story so far, scene 1, scene 2. And I'll add it to the end of scene 3. And now this will update it inside of Rexy. So let's go here to Rexy. You can see I have my project, Inadequately Enraged Villains, which is my working title for it right now. That just tickled my fancy. I have my S slots. I will change this to we are now working on scene 4. Perfect. My Notion slots, I will just make sure these are all loaded in. So that's right here. So that's all up to date. I have my full story so far. So I have my B slots updated, and that's where all of my prompts live. And we're going to be working with the same 9 prompt sequence. Remember, these are essentially 4 prompts and just with some please continues built in. So make a plan to write the scene. And again, we've noticed Gemini will only put out 6, 7, 8, 900 words in a go for some reason. So I write the scene, then I have please continue, make a plan to revise the scene, write the revised scene, and then please continue. And using that method is how I got almost 3,000 words last time for my last chapter. And then I forgot to point this out, but I do have a system message built in, which includes all of the information about the series, about this specific story, and the plot template I want it to use for the overarching plot of the story. So, like I said, we're going to work on scene 4. So I need to run 9 insta runs. My 9 prompts we just talked about, starting at number 1, and let's go. Scene 1, we're still inside Sarah's lab, which is fine. Again, having them as unrecognized back characters does limit the amount of settings they can do, so I might change some of that up for other short stories. I don't want them staying in the same spot over and over. But again, for several thousand words short story, that can be fine. Okay, so we have all of the instructions. Like I said several times, I do give it a template for how I want these writing instructions to come out, everything I want it to include. So that really helps with the output that I get from it. And where we left off last time, we saw in our summary is they had basically left on a cliffhanger that they were activating the Singularity engine. So I picked right back up with them starting it. It looks like they might actually have the final scene and finish in this go round, which is perfect. We can have a little wrap up scene chapter at the end. And this is, again, this is where I told it to write. Lisa talked to me, she said, her voice steady. And it ended there because, again, it's not writing 1,500, 2,000 words in one go. We're in Sarah, Lisa said. So it just seamlessly picked up. And wisps of smoke curling up from its core like a dying star. So again, it just picked up and continued. Scene 4, incomplete. Either way, it finished and it told me it's incomplete. Maybe it still needs to be revised. But it did finish. So now we have the revision plan for character development and dialogue, conflict and tension, emotional resonance, sensory details, climax resolution. Perfect. It is in the climax right now, pacing and timing. Here's the plan for revision. And these are all things I suggested in the prompt to look at how the scene and the writing instructions matched and if there was any discrepancies, to make sure there was enough conflict and tension, emotional resonance, character arcs, character development. So it's looking at all of those. And it wrote while I was talking. So let's go take a look. So we have to come back to our auto write page, which is where Rexy automatically puts everything. So here's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 prompts that we wrote. Let's make sure. Revise scene 4 complete. So perfect. So again, I can come to this one, which is just a final compilation. So all 9 of those strung together at once. And again, it only gives Gemini or whichever AI you're using, it only gives their response. So I don't have to worry about cutting out my prompt or anything like that. It all goes together quite seamlessly. So here's our writing instruction. Scene 4. The revision instructions, and then revise scene starts here. So I'm actually going to take this. Revise scene 4 complete. Bring it into where I keep my chapters. And again, you can keep them anywhere. I just find Notion, especially with Notion AI built in, very convenient. And that's already where Rexy's writing them to, so I don't have to switch between too much. Okay, so it looks like it is going for 5 scenes, which I might end up with 6 or even 7, depending how I cut these out. But I was aiming 10,000 to 15,000 word short stories. So if it goes over the 5 scenes, that's fine. It's almost expected. But it looks like it ended at the climax at a cliffhanger. Oh crap, Sarah muttered, reaching for a wrench. It wasn't the right tool for the job, not by a long shot. But then again, they hadn't exactly followed the cosmic safety manual on this little adventure. I think we just woke up the neighbors. So first, let's take a look at our word count. We're at 2770, so that's pretty good. I actually have a choice. Now that it's starting to write a little longer, I can go instead of cutting scene 3 down too much, I could instead beef up scene 1 and 2. Or I could just leave it as is. They don't have to be perfect. I have lots of options. And like I said, I like to wait till the end being a plantser. So here's our summary of what happened in the scene. In a high tech lab, Sarah and her team faces a cosmic crisis involving the singularity engine. With Captain Quantum's help, they attempt to disrupt the quantum entanglement and save reality. After a chaotic battle, they succeed, but a mysterious creature emerges from the singularity engine, indicating that they have woken something unexpected. Oh, I love this. So I already have my 2,000 words. I have 2,700 words for this video. So if this ends on a cliffhanger, not exactly a cliffhanger, but we've wrapped up the story with Dr. Abyss, but we've just shown a new enemy emerging through this singularity, that could seamlessly move into Lisa's story. We'll see what the next chapter writes, but I have a lot of ideas how I might direct this to we show the antagonist or the villain of this story is defeated, but we've just introduced a new one. We have Lisa, who was kind of popping in and out, but she will have her next story fighting this next villain that was just introduced. So I love that that just gave me an idea for this. And again, that can make this anthology a vignette of much tighter tied together stories than I was even imagining when I was brainstorming. So I love this. So I'm actually really excited to finish this off, but that will have to wait for the next video at this point and to see where it goes. Like I said, I will clean this up a little bit, validate it, but it looks pretty good as I was skimming it. Just some minor tweaks. And then, like I said, we're right around 10,000 words. We'll come in around, I'm guessing maybe 12,000 of rough draft that I can either cut or expand, being well within my 10 to 15K window. So that's perfect. And I'll be in an excellent starting position for story 2 in this anthology. So again, if you'd like to try out Rexy, if you'd like to learn more on some of these processes I'm doing, I am teaching a class on short story anthologies in Q3 in the FFA. So if you'd like to see that, if there's any other part of my process that you'd like to dive deeper into, join us in the FFA. You can find the link in the description below. We have a 7-day free trial. You can come in, try out a few of the classes. We have 400 at this point. We have a lot. So we'll try to guide you through so it's not overwhelming. But we hope to see you in lab soon and have a great day. Happy writing.